A bullet is cold steel, emotionless, and unforgiving. It doesn't care about your dreams. It can take you out, and so can Valentina Shevchenko.
Oh my!
Just ask Holly Holm.
1-2. Nice leg kick there on the out. Again. Oh, wheel kick.
For the winner, by unanimous decision, Valentina "Bullet" Shevchenko.
Aggressive, fierce, and some suggest a little bit maniacal.
And she's just playing the drums on her face right now, John. This is nasty.
Julianna Pena uses a burning aggression and suffocating ground game to overwhelm every opponent she faces inside the octagon. After putting a beatdown on Kat Zingano at UFC 200, the Venezuelan vixen gave a blunt assessment of her place in the division.
I don't know what else I have to do. You know, I just beat the girl who beat both the champion and the champion's opponent, so she beat both of these girls.
She has talked the talk, now she has to walk the walk. Will Julianna Pena dodge a bullet and thrust herself to the front of the line? Or will Valentina Shevchenko shoot her down on her way to a title shot showdown?
There's a lot of fighters that say they fight anybody, anytime, any place. My name gets brought up, it doesn't happen, you know? Cowboy, I'm praying for you to win your fight. If you're such a badass as you say, let's do it, man.
I wonder what about Denver, Colorado in a few weeks. What about that one? Yeah, Denver, Colorado, baby, 1,000%.
And just like that, a match made in MMA heaven between two of the toughest, straight-shooting scrappers to ever set foot in the octagon. Donald Cerrone has been an absolute wrecking machine at welterweight and has his eyes set on the title. However, Jorge Masvidal has the kind of freewheeling style, in-your-face pace, and skill set to derail him. It's guaranteed fireworks when Cowboy and Gamebred throw down. This is the most comprehensive and entertaining pre-fight show on the world's premier 24/7 television channel, dedicated to the complete coverage of combat sports. This is UFC Fight Night, Pena versus Shevchenko, and it starts right now.
It is Fight News Now. Welcome to the show. I am your host, John Pollock, alongside John Ramdeen, and joining us this week is Cody Saftik, these finely dressed gentlemen who will be with us for the entire hour as we get you set for Saturday night, the UFC back where it all began, in Colorado. They will be in Denver for a big Fox card, headlined by a big women's bantamweight fight, which could produce the next challenger, John.
Shevchenko, we've seen her ever since she came into the UFC. She's looked stellar. If you've followed her career, this is a combat sports athlete, has 60-some Thai boxing bouts under her belt. She is cool and calm inside of the cage, and I think that will take her very, very far in this game, because it's one of those things you can rely on. If you're calm and you have a specific goal in mind, you go, you execute, which she's done time and time again. I'm very impressed with Shevchenko at this point in her career.
I think altitude's the name of the game. Every time we see them go to, whether it be Colorado, whether it be Mexico City, there's always some fighters a little flatter than you might expect, a little different than you might expect. It's the big X factors. How are some of these guys going to perform when you stick them a mile high in the air? And that's why I think it's very interesting. 5-round fight to cap off the night, but a lot of interesting, intriguing fights along the whole way.
The Pepsi Center is where it is going down on Saturday night from Denver, Colorado. As Cody mentioned, will be taking place at elevation, which always makes for some fun, especially when you see heavyweights on the lineup. But our main event is Valentina Shevchenko. She will be taking on Julianna Pena, the winner of The Ultimate Fighter Season 18. She will have a 2-inch reach advantage over Shevchenko, who is coming off the biggest win of her mixed martial arts career when she defeated Holly Holm last July on Fox. Earlier this week, we had a chance to speak with both individuals in Saturday's main event, and here are some highlights from those interviews.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Valentina is a very decorated striker. She's the toughest striker that I've ever had to face in my career. She's a 17-time Muay Thai world champion. And I think that, she's going to be very much wanting to keep her distance from me the whole time and make sure that it doesn't get to the ground, because that's where she feels I'm at my strongest. However, I feel like I'm comfortable wherever the fight goes. If we want to stand and bang on the feet, I'll do that. If she wants to take it to the ground and wrestle or in the clinch, I'll do that too. So, I can't worry too much about what Valentina does, and I need to focus kind of on what I know I can do, and that's making a fight ugly, making it messy, and grinding out until I break their will and get them to stop, and that's what I plan on doing.
Yes, it will be 5 rounds, so it's not like a sprint, it's all marathon. So I have to be in the great conditions, but if it will be if I can finish by KO, by submission or whatever, it will be great, but I have to be ready for all time for not receiving any surprises on the fight.
Those are the 2 women that will meet in Saturday's main event, and we can start with Valentina Shevchenko. She, coming off of a 5-round decision over Holly Holm, this was a fight where it was a big stage for her, but this is someone who, when you incorporate her kickboxing background, this is a woman with plenty of experience. She was very patient in that fight, John. She allowed her counters to be there when Holly Holm would try to initiate. Do you sense a very similar game plan here of trying to expect that Pena will be the aggressive one and hoping to see those openings?
I think Shevchenko absolutely wants Julianna Pena to be super aggressive, to constantly move forward, because look what happens when Holly Holm was moving forward. Shevchenko was able to land on her from distance, and I think if Julianna Pena continues to go after her looking for the takedown and she can't get it, she's going to get frustrated, and Shevchenko is going to eat her alive from distance. What we've seen, if you look at some of Shevchenko's other fights, you can get her to the ground. If you can interrupt her combinations when she's throwing, we've seen her go down to the ground. And we saw Julianna in her fight with Kat Zingano. She dealt with some serious top game, some heavy pressure. She stayed relaxed. And then halfway through the fight, she kind of turned the tides and turned the tables, so to speak, and she was able to get the top game. That's clearly what she wants to do. If she can get Shevchenko to the ground and play her top game, she'll have a lot of success. However, if she can't get the fight down to the ground, maybe she can take a page out of Holly Holm's book and try to win up against the cage, because we saw when Shevchenko put Holly Holm up against the cage, Holm would turn her and score there, but then Holm would disengage and try to attack from the distance. So Pena, look to get the fight down to the ground. If that doesn't work, because Shevchenko is going to be very skilled, she's going to make it very, very difficult for Pena to get the fight down to the ground. So if Pena can't, expect her to go up against the cage.
And Cody, Julianna has been able to showcase she has a lot of power, in particular in her clinch game. Do you feel that she will have that ability to work that clinch game, take Valentina down to the ground, because that was the key to Amanda Nunes in those first 2 rounds of their fight last March?
Well, she's going to have the size, she's going to have that strength advantage, and I would expect her to try to implore that and get the fight to the ground. But I think the real key here is that it's 5 rounds. And when we just heard from Shevchenko there, she had a fantastic point in that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. That's an understanding that she has. When she fought Holly Holm, another 5-round fight, she took her time, she paced herself, and she looked fantastic throughout. When you look at Julianna Pena, this is a sprinter. This is someone who uses all the energy that she has to try to rush that finish. She has a number of takedowns, but when you look at the takedowns, they're all inside trips or outside trips. When you look at a girl like Valentina Shevchenko, everyone talks about the Muay Thai, but it's important to also note that she is a black belt in judo. Yeah. So I don't expect all those trips to land the same. I know that she could possibly get taken down, but when you look at her on the ground against a girl like Amanda Nunes, who's a high-level black belt and is the best girl in the division, she shows a good account of herself. So she can just survive the early rounds, take it into deep water, that's where she should be able to shine.
You would imagine that Shevchenko learned from that Amanda Nunes fight, because she learned during the fight. Later in the fight, Amanda Nunes tried to get a trip takedown, and as Cody pointed out, because of Shevchenko's judo background, she managed to get the takedown. So if she can manage to survive the intensity of Pena for the first couple of rounds and then storm back like we saw her in this fight with Nunes, she essentially gave away those first 2 rounds and then stormed back to convincingly win round number 3. And a lot of people feel if it was a championship fight that she would win round 4 and 5. You would expect that that's part of her strategy. Is okay, you can use as much energy as humanly possible. I'll be able to give away some rounds because of that. I'm not going to get hurt, but I'm going to outpoint you in the later rounds, and I'm going to tax you and make you pay.
I think that the fact that this is a 5-round fight, it's a big factor in this particular fight, not just where this is happening in Denver, but also the fact that we saw Shevchenko have a much smarter game plan against Holly Holm than we saw against Amanda Nunes in 3 rounds. That will be the big question. If Shevchenko wins this fight, that will be the question. Had that fight gone 5 with Amanda Nunes, would it have been a different fight?
On top of that, has Pena spent time in Colorado getting ready for
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
So that's the thing, 3 weeks.
Shevchenko spent her whole camp here.
That's it. So we know that Pena moved from Washington to Chicago, and we've seen that a lot of fighters can improve greatly by going to Chicago because of the programs there, but is it enough?
It's an intriguing main event between Julianna Pena and Valentina Shevchenko. It will headline Saturday's card, which you can watch on TSN 5 in Canada beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern.